Dahl, the witches, illustrated by Quentin Blank. The recipe. I hope you haven't forgotten that while all this was going on, I was stuck behind the screen on my hands and knees with one eye glued to the crack. I don't know how long I had been there, but it seemed like forever. The worst part of it was not being allowed to cough or make a sound, and knowing that if I did, I was as good as dead. And all the way through, I was living in constant terror that one of the witches in the back row was going to get a whiff of my presence through the special nostril surfers. My only hope, as I saw it, was the fact that I hadn't washed for days. That and the never-ending excitement and clapping and shouting that was going on the Grand High Witch in the room. The witches are thinking of nothing except the Grand High Witch up there on the platform and a great plan for wiping out all of the children of England. They certainly weren't sniffing around for a child in the room. In their wildest dreams, if witches had dreams, that would never can occur to any of them. I kept still and prayed. The Grand High Witch's dreadful gloating song was over now, and the audience were clapping madly, shouting, "Brilliant! Sensational! Marvelous! You're a genius, O brainy one! It is a thrilling invention, this daily action mouse maker. It is a winner! And the beauty of it is that the teachers will be ones who bump off the sting the little children. It won't be us doing it. We shall never be caught." "Witches are never caught," snapped the Grand High Witch. "Attention now. I've won everybody's attention for I am about to telling you. But you must do the prepare Formula 86, that light action mess maker." Suddenly there came a great gasp from the audience. There followed the hubbub of shrieking and yelling, and I saw many witches leaping to their feet and pointing at the platform, crying out, "Mice, mice, mice! She's done to show us. The brainy one has turned the 2 children into mouse, and there they are." I looked towards the platform. The mice were there all right, 2 of them running around the near Grand High Witch skirts. But these were not field mouse or house mouse or wood mice or harvest mouse. They were white mouse. I recognized them immediately as being my own little William and Mary. "Mice!" shouted the audience. "Our leader has made the mouse appear out of nowhere. Get the mouse traps! Fed the cheese!" I saw the Grand High Witch peering down the floor and staring in obvious puzzlement at William and Mary. She bent lower to get a closer look. Then she straightened up and shouted, "Quiet!" The audience became silent and sat down. "These mice are nothing to me," she shouted. "These mice are pet mice. These mice are obviously belong to some sleeping little child in the hotel. The boy had Wilbur certainly, because girls are not keeping pet mice." "A boy!" cried the witches. "I felt it smell the little boy. We'll wake him. We'll sizzle with him. We'll have his trays for breakfast." "Silence!" shouted the Grand High Witch, raising her hands. "Know perfectly well you must do nothing to draw attention to yourself while you're living in this hotel. Let us by all means get rid of the evil-smelling little squirt. But we must do it as quickly as possible, for we, not all of us, the most respectable ladies of the World Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children. What is the suggestion, O brainy one?" they cried out. "How shall I displace this small pile of filth?" "They're talking to me," I thought. "These females are actually talking how to kill me." I began to sweat. "Whoever he is not important," announced the Grand High Witch. "Leave him to me. I shall smell him out and turn into a mackerel and have him dish off for supper." "Bravo!" cried the witches. "Cut off his head and chop his tail and fry him in the hot butter." You can imagine that none of this was making me feel very comfortable. On the platform, and I saw the Grand High Witch as a swift running kick at William. She caught him right on the point of her toe and sent him flying. She did the same thing to Mary. Her arm was extraordinary. She would have made a great football player. Both mice crashed against the window, and for a few moments they lay stunned. Then they got to their feet and scampered away. "Attention again!" the Grand High Witch was shouting. "I will now give you the recipe for conducting Formula 86, the lead action mouse maker. Get our pencils and paper. Handbags were open all over the room, and notebooks were finished up. Give us a recipe, O brainy one, cried the audience impatiently. Tell us the secret. First, said the Grand High Witch, I have to find something that would cause the children to become very small and very quickly. And what's that? Cried the audience. That part was simple, said the Grand High Witch. All you have to do with wishing to make a child very small is to get him through the wrong end of a telescope. She's a wonder, cried the audience. Who else would you have thought of thinking like that? So you take the wrong end of the telescope, continued the Grand High Witch, and you boil it until it gets soft. How long does it take? They asked her. 21 hours of boiling, answered the Grand High Witch. And while this is going on, you take exactly 45 brown mice and you chomp off their tails with a curving knife, and you fry the tails in a hair oil until they're nice and crisp. What do you do with all those mice who have the tails chomped off? Asked the audience. Simmer that in frog juice for 1 hour, came the answer. But listen to me. So far, I have only given you the easy part of the recipe. The really difficult problem is to tip it something that will have a genial delayed action result, something that can be eaten by children on a certain day, but which will not start bronking on them until 9 o'clock the next morning when they arrive at school. What did you come up with, O brainy one? They called out. Tell us a great secret. The secret, announced the Grand High Witch triumphantly. It's an alarm clock. An alarm clock, they shouted. A stroke of genius. Of course it is, the Grand High Witch. You can set the 24-hour alarm clock today, and at exactly 9 o'clock tomorrow it will go off. But we need 5 million alarm clocks, cried the audience. We'll need one for each child. Idiot, shouted the Grand High Witch. If you're wanting a steak, you do not cook the whole cow. It is the same with alarm clocks. One clock will make enough for 1,000 children. Here's is what you set your alarm clock to go off at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Then you roast in the oven until it's crisp and tender. Are you writing this down? We are, your grandness, we are, they cried. Next, said the Grand High Witch, you take your boiled telescope and your fried mouse tails and your cooked mouse and your roasted alarm clock, and all together you put them into the mixer. Then you mix them full speed. This will get you a nice thick paste. But the mixer is still missing. You must add it to the yolk of burnt Griddle's egg. A Griddle's egg, shouted the audience. We shall do that. You need the clamor that is going on, I heard. The one witch in the back row saying to her neighbor, I'm getting a bit old to get birds nesting. This ruddy grunt's always nests very high up. So you mix your egg, the Grand High Witch went on, and one after the other you also mix the following items. The claw of a crumbencher, the beak of bobber snitch, the snout of grubber squirt, and a tongue of carrot finger. I trust you are not having any trouble to finding those. Not at all, they cried out. We'll spear the bull snitch and trap the crab concher and shoot the gobble squirt and catch a cat springer and a sparrow. Excellent, said the Grand High Witch. When you have mixed everything together in the mixture, you will have a most marvelous looking green liquid. Put 1 drop, just tiny dropped it, of this liquid into chocolate or sweet, and at 9 o'clock the next morning, the child who ate it will turn into a mouse in 26 seconds. With one word of nothing. Never increase the dose. Never put more than 1 drop into each sweet of chocolate, and never give more than 1 sweet chocolate to each child. The overdose of delay action mouse maker will mess up the timing of the alarm clock and cause a child to turning a mouse too early. The large overdose might even have an inside effect, and you wouldn't vote that, would you? You wouldn't vote the children turning into mouse right into the street shops. That would give the game away. So be very careful. Do not overdose. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe me and have a great day. Bye bye.